Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new Eachine project. This is their last FPV brush quadcopter. This is a new revision of their QX95. This is the S version. What are the novelty here? We have now a F3 board with a built-in OSD, that's great, and some other improvement, at least for the frame, for the camera placement and so on. So let's discover this new 95mm brushed FPV quadcopter. So we have this no-name box just with a basic sticker, so probably maybe it's not the final product, but maybe they were rushed to deliver the project. So we have two instruction manual, one for the IO FPV camera. It's a basic 3-in-1 with one unique button in NTSC format only, no possibility to tune it in PAL. We know that it's 48 channel 25 milliwatts from the 3.3 volt up to 5.5, 600 TVL CMOS camera, 120 degrees of field of view, okay, about 2.6 g. You have two rows of lights, the blue for the V-band selection, since you have 6 channels, you have 6 small blue LEDs, and 8 for the current V-frame inside the V-band. Okay, the one unique button, short press to cycle between the 8 frequency inside the current selected V-band, and long press more than 2 seconds to select your V-band. Okay, and you have the complete list of the frequency here. The racer band is obviously supported. Full instruction manual, okay, printed in color. Well, in fact, it's just one piece of paper. So, oops, sorry, we can find other characteristics. So we know that we have some 8520 black edition coreless motors. Okay, so I hope they will boost the performances. An IO F3 Pro, okay, with a built-in Betaflight OSD. Instead of the 600 mAh powers one cell LiPo, now it's only a 450. Okay, but it's an HV. It's not really an LiPo, it's a Li HV, so with some boosted performances. Okay, so we can expect some good performances. Okay, and the classic Taiwanese configuration, and here we have the layout of the flight control board, where you can find here the boot pads if you need to reflash some Betaflight. It comes with Betaflight 3.21. So let's discover the accessories. We have bags with 2 Velcro band, 4 spare props. You will see there is a small originality with the props, a prop remover wrench in carbon, and 2 rubber band. Okay, we have the battery, so it's a Li HV. Okay, HV is written here. 30 CF discharge rate, 450 mAh with ending with micro ROSI connector. Let's give an information about the weight. Sorry, and it's about 14, well, a little bit less than 14 grams. If you need some exact dimension, we have in millimeters something about okay, 62 by, oh, it's super thin in this dimension, 18 by even smaller, 7. Okay, no problem. And associated with, we have this USB charger, okay, and ending with a micro ROSI, and a button here to select between 0.5 ampere or 1 ampere in charge. So it's preset to 1 ampere. Okay, so expect about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to recharge the Li HV, and here is the quadcopter. So ta-da-da, a lot of novelty, and I will compare immediately with the former version. Okay, the 90. Here are the both. Okay, so what are the main difference? We still find at least the common things. We still find these rubber O-rings to welcome to J the 8.4 millimeters motor, so they are black edition. But look at that, the frame in fact are different. Here the carbon section is more wider. Okay, the opening here is less, is more narrow compared to the former, so it will be much more durable, robust to crash. What is the thickness of this carbon element? We have something about 1.5 millimeters. Why for the other one should be more or less the same also. But as you can see, is much more now robust, more with carbon base. That's great. Look now the camera, it was a fixed model, flat horizontally. Now you have this system where you can tune and enjoy and clean a bit the lens orientation. Well, in fact the linear antenna is blocking a bit the maximum deviation of the angle, but you can still reach something about 30 degrees, which is not bad. So you have some small camera mount attachment, that's great. Okay, but look that you have this type of flat border props for the front, blue, and it's completely rounded on rear, so they are not the same type. Probably because there was a small gap. Okay, if we had two type also for the rear side of this type of props, probably there will be some contacts, so they prefer to change in order to have no props contacts. So look the difference now. The rear arms also are much more improved. Okay, so it's more wider in terms of carbon, looks more solid, less flexible. Okay, we still find on the rear these LEDs here simply connected, and well, if you want, you can save close to 0.5 gram if you want to remove it, but you will see that out of the box is pretty well configured. So we can find on top the upper plate with a buzzer in central parts, that's great. Okay, and on the bottom side you can find the information about the AEO F3 Pro. Here this is the 2.4 GHz antenna. Mine version is a Fear Sky version, and good news, there is a RSSI on the last channel, so with on your SD we'll be able to enjoy some RSSI feedback. So a lot of improvement. Okay, compared to the former edition, be aware because I removed the top plate in order to save some weight, but you should have also this type of plate. So bye bye the cloverleaf antenna, it was too fragile. It's a better option to have more linear, and the drop of performances is well, not so important, so it's a good option. So let's give information about the weight. Oh, be aware, I already pre-installed one of the two rubber bands to attach the battery, so the weight will be a little bit more increased, but standalone we have something about 42 grams, and if I had the battery we are close to 55.9 gram. Okay, and let's compare to the modded, little bit modded QX95, the original one without the plate. It's more or less the same amount of weight, but with this one we had a 600 milliamps power. So basically, if you can remove these LEDs here, and probably, well, if you really, no, you cannot because it's the camera mount also, but you can probably save a little fraction of gram, okay, with by removing the LEDs bar. So how to insert the battery? You can install the strap rubber band like this, and if you want to secure completely the battery installation, no problem. So the free room available on the power lead cable is small, but is enough to connect the battery. And look that we have strong light, and the Larson scanner effect is here, so you can guess that it's already very well pre-programmed. Okay, so be aware to correctly attach the 2.4 GHz antenna, okay, to not be damaged by the battery insertion. So we have a buzzer, that's great, and the main question, you know, what is better, to take more a brushed one as FPV racer, or go now directly to a brushless version? So in fact, the answer is not so obvious actually, with the relatively poor performances of some 07, 03 motors. So they are not super satisfying in terms of motor thrust. So the victory is not clear for the brushless motors. I hope soon there will be some 07, 04 motor, some stuff like this, or maybe, and they will probably boost the performances. Look the BAT 100, there are some 07, 05, and it's offering much better thrust. So but you to find something in what is below 50 gram, below 60 gram, is not super obvious in brushless edition in my point of view. So the brush can be still considered, okay, and well, you have to know that if you are aware, you're interested by this brush quadcopter, Be sure to stock at least one clockwise and one counterclockwise motors. Unfortunately, in this model, no free spare motors done. So the F3 board, of course, you have the access on the right side, no problem to insert the micro USB. You have plug for motors, that's great. The Betaflight is some round here. It's a long elongated here. Okay, and for the FearSky receiver on the front left, you can find the bind button. So it's a FearSky receiver in D8 mode. So as usual, to bind it, keep pressed while powering. You can use the USB, okay, to power the controller, and the video transmitter is working, and keep press this button while binding. Okay, it's classic. And good news, as I said, we have the RSSI outputted in the last channel. Be sure to, if you are in Deviation TX, to activate this option. Okay, so I will in any case show you how to bind it. So the improvements are here, definitively. A better battery, better camera support, and and we have full OSD information for sure. So okay, so now it's time to show you the binding procedure, and after to check the default Betaflight 3.2.1 setup. Here is a binding procedure, so I will use a jumper. Okay, really like this radio, and select the FearSky model, and probably you will need also later to adjust the 82 gain if you want to retrieve some correct voltage for your telemetry information, because good news, and as I will show you, there's also some telemetry information feedback. So anyway, so be ready to press bind. Okay, and I will use a power bank because I find it is more easy. So I'll prepare a small tweeter. Okay, and look, you just need to keep press the front jumper. You have to hear a click. So with the other hand, you have to be ready to insert the USB plug. So I will press the bind button. I should hear a click. Okay, if I'm not wrong, or use your finger. Okay, it's done. Then insert the USB. Okay, and then I will press the bind button by here. Okay, and if everything is okay, the light, the blue or the green light, will disappear. So to check that, now I will power off everything: the radio, the quadcopter. Let's turn on everything one more time. Okay, turn on the radio. Okay, and as you can see, I've got a solid light, green light, so it means it's bound. And let's check a little bit some information about the telemetry monitors. And look that we have a RSSI here. Okay, that's great. At least the RSSI is working. For the battery, it's not obvious, so maybe we can play a bit with the 82 option. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I'm still accustomed with the my original Devo 7A. So you have to go there and play with the 82 gain. Let's say about something about 40. Okay, press OK, exit now, exit, go to the transmitter menu, telemetry monitors. No impact into the V-cell. Okay, nothing. So we still have at least the RSSI, so you can put an alarm on this value. Okay, as far understood, the value should decrease. Okay, should decrease. Okay, there is some values down. Okay, so good news, we have the value here, and you can put a threshold on this value. So now it's time to go into and to check the default Betaflight settings. Okay, maybe done some little optimization, but as far as ADC, it's already very well tuned. Let's go. Okay, so let's discover the default settings of this QX95S. So I will connect to Betaflight. Okay, and after a couple of seconds, the information should come. And as you know, it's strongly advised to first check the current version install. So we have a Betaflight 3.2.1 for Omnibus board, a brushed edition. Okay, so if you want to flash new version, be sure to select this target, and it's strongly advised to dump at least default settings. Okay, and to save it, all this information you have to copy from the beginning of the dump, okay, into a text file, okay, and I already did it, okay, and you save into an empty text file. Then if you need to restore your default setting, just copy from this text file and paste into the CLI command, and don't forget to end with the save command. Okay, so now it's time to reconnect to the setup. Okay, and I will press reconnect. So what we have, let's check the port first, and we have the UART3 where the serial port is turned on. It's obvious to make your FireSky receiver working in S-bus communication. So don't forget to turn the UART3 serial on. In terms of configuration, what we have, a quad X, we have a brushed, so don't forget if you flash new Betaflight firmware to select the brushed. Okay, and we have motor stop. It's up to you, or if you want to have a default value, it's up to you. So if you use an arm switch, maybe it's good to do not apply a motor stop. So in terms of configuration, we have the gyros at 8 kilos, that's great, and the PID loops only 2 kilos can be pushed up to 4 kilos. It's strange, but we have the barometers turned on, so we can disable it because there is no barometer. Okay, you have the call name already pre-configured, okay, in your OSD data. So it's a QX90S, that's great. Okay, no RSSI checking, and in terms of receiver, we have effectively serial based receiver protocol, and more particularly the S-bus connection. So what other features selected? We have the LED strip turned on as well on the OSD. Okay, nothing else, and it's good because there is no a lot of option. The beeper configuration. Okay, so we will press save and reboot. Okay, let's check that the CPU usage didn't increase too much. We have still something about 20%. That's great. So let's check the power. Okay, actually there is no battery, so but we have the minimum 3.3. Maximum, as you can see, it's not a LiPo but HV, so we are 4.4 volt, and the warning it's 2.8. You can also write the total capacity of the battery, but it's not obligation. PID tunings, let's check that. We have the default Betaflight, okay, as far as I can see, and the default rate. So if you want, you know that I like to increase a bit the rate to something more faster, at least in terms of pitch and roll. And for the YA command, something more linear. Okay, something about 2, with the super rate decrease to something about 600 degrees per second. In terms of filter, we have these values, okay, and the big quad low pass filter is selected. Okay, and let's check that. Anti-gravity gain set to 1 and anti-gravity threshold to 350. Let's save. Okay, and we can go to but first I will enable the expert mode to see a little bit the fail-safe settings. We have a drop, that's correct. Okay, receiver. So I will turn on the jumper. Okay, and as you know, you can see there is the aux5 associated with the RSSI. So be sure to select the RSSI channel on aux5. By default, we are in a spectrum, so in T threshold, Aeron, etc. For the jumper, I had to set to Aeron, elevator, throttle rudder. So if you have more Taranis, please use the other order. So we have everything working. Let's check that. Yes. Okay, and actually I've got a 2-3-way switch available. Okay, but I can use more if I want from my jumper. Be sure to also correctly set your center, okay, to be sure to be centered into around 1500 on your radio. Know that the jumper, the precision around the center are not great, so it's not a super precise radio in terms of gimbal, I would say. No arrest deadband, but we can apply one, and as well on the yaw deadband. Okay, so it's always good to apply such element. In terms of mode, what we have the aux1, okay, sorry, and the aux2. So by default, you can see that the aux1 it's pre-configured for a 2-way, okay, and what we can do, we can a little bit decrease this value, okay, like this, something about like this, okay, and I will save also, be sure. And when it's in upper position, we can, for example, apply the beeper, okay, in the last range section. So let's save that. Okay, so we have when it's in middle position, arming, okay, in upper position, no arming, and beeper in the last. So now let's check the flight mode, more on aux2. Okay, here by default, when the aux2 in the up position, we are in acro. In the middle, we are in 6-axis stabilized angle mode, and when it's down, in the bottom position, we are still in acro, but with air mode turned on. So what I will prefer is more to apply more some stuff like this. So I will more apply angle in upper position, okay, acro, okay, in middle, and acro plus air mode in upper position. So let's apply like this, save. Okay, so let's check that. Angle mode when it's up position, acro when it's in middle position, and acro plus air mode when it's bottom position. Okay, so the flight mode since configured, but it was already pretty well configured out of the box. Just be aware that when your aux switch is in upper position, you are take off in acro, and you know for the transmitter they force you to put all the switches in upper position, so it could be dangerous for beginners. Be aware of that. So this is why I prefer to install angle mode more in upper position of the switch. Let's check the OSD information. We can see that we already pre-installed some element. Okay, that's great. We can, for example, we can see that the battery is on the top left, the flight time is on the top right, that's great, and the craft name is on the bottom left, the status here on the central, and the RSSI. First of all, we are in NTSC for sure, and I will install more metrics, okay, and we can just adapt the capacity of the battery, 450 mAh, okay, and the maximum altitude. Okay, anyway, it's not really super important. We can also add this throttle position, is always good, okay, and we can, for example, remove the craft name, okay, and replace the throttle instead. Okay, so sounds great. Maybe I will decrease a bit here, to the right, left, like this. Sounds good. I will save that. Okay, we can use, for example, the font manager and use more Betaflight font. They are more beautiful. Well, it's just a question. So we are uploading the new font into the machine. Great, and now I will reconnect. I maybe forgot to save the previous works I did. No, it was okay. So sound everything. So now let's check the LED strip. We have everything pre-programmed. Let's check the first one. We have the Larsen scanner effect indicator, and the central is more associated with the throttle, so perfectly configured. That's great. So as you can see, the default is already super well tuned. So the OSD is down, the light is down, the receiver flight mode also. Okay, I just performed some little optimization about the rate and the OSD information. So now it's time to go in the field, okay, and test this new machine and to see if the Black Edition brushed motor will boost the performances.